Welcome back to my channel, everyone. This is Gianna here. Today we're going through a kettlebell workout. If you don't have any kettlebells at home, you can definitely use dumbbells, but I highly suggest to use kettlebells if you have them. I know sometimes the shape can be a bit intimidating, but nobody was born knowing how to do kettlebell swings. You know, the first few are probably gonna look rough. I'm not going to lie. They will be rough. But then later on, with practice, they're gonna look great. So it's gonna be 10 exercises. We're working for 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. We're gonna start off with a warm-up. I want you to just do some squats so your feet can be shoulder distance apart or whatever part that distance feels comfortable for you. When you lower down into the squat, I want to make sure your knees are pointing in line with your big toe and your pinky toe. Are your hips dipping? Do you feel like you're unstable at the bottom? And if that's the case, I want you to go 1 inch higher. We'll do 5 more seconds here. Good, and release. And then we're gonna get into our hinge movements. When you're getting into your hinge, we're gonna push the hips back, keep a micro bend into the knees, and come back up. When you are hinging, I wanna make sure that I have weight in my big toe, my pinky toe, and the heel. And if that feels comfortable, let's bring the hands behind the head. Push your elbows out to the sides, make sure you're not arching. Keep the ribs in and push the hips back. Feel the lengthening across the glutes and hamstrings. Enjoy that stretch. Then come back up to standing. Doing a few more here. Try best not to let your elbows go forward as you hinge. Open up across the chest and release. Good. Let's do that again, but we're gonna put those two movements together. So we're gonna have the arms overhead. We'll do the squat first, hinge second, and stand. It's gonna look like this. You squat first, you hinge second, and you come up to standing. You drop the hips, extend the legs, and then up to standing. Drop the hips, chest faces down towards the floor, then up to standing. A few more here, lower down. Hinge, up to standing. Hips go low, hips come back up high, chest goes down, up to standing. 4 more, lower down, hinge, and up. 3 more, down, back, and up, down, back, and up. Last one, squat, hinge, and stand. Great. Give your hands, shake your arms to shake, roll your shoulders back. Let's do that again in reverse. So first we hinge, second we squat, then we stand. In 3, 2, 1, hinge first, squat second, and then come up. That one's a bit harder, yeah? Hinge first, squat second, then come back up. When you hinge first, make sure you drop your hips right under your shoulders for that squat, and then up to standing. Hinge, squat, stand. Bum goes back, drop the hips down, and then come up. Moving with your breath. 3 more times here. Hinge, squat, and stand. And again, where are you putting your weight when you're hinging? Are your toes lifting up? Make sure they're not. Ooh, I did that in reverse, I think. Let's do that one more time. Hinge, squat, and stand. Good. Again, little twist right here. Shaking that out. Okay. We're gonna get into your walkout second. So I want you to take your time with your walkouts. I'll tell you the things that I don't want to see. I don't want the hands to land forward. I want you to take your time here. Feel that stretch in the back, in the posterior chain. Forward fold first. Then walk your hands out. Yeah, that's the part that people like to avoid. From that plank position, drop the knees, drop the chest, pick up your chest, pick up your knees, walk your hands back towards your feet. That is 1. I want 5 more. Option to do that push-up from your toes. We are gonna be doing some push-ups today. So let's make sure we warm up those muscles. Forward fold, walk yourself out into plank. Either drop the knees, push up, or pick them up and keep them off. I think we did 3. We'll do 3 more. Usually in my classes, I have a co-coach that I assign for my counting. But you know, worst case scenario, we just do 1 more, right? That's the worst it gets. All right, that's 6. From here, we're gonna get into your reverse lunges. So I'm gonna still face sideways so you can see what I'm doing. From here, I'm gonna slide my foot straight back. A lot of times what happens in our lunge is we have the feet stacked in one line, and that's where the instability comes. So make sure there's enough space between your right foot and left foot. Lower down, then into both knees. Step up, back into standing, and then other side. Take a look at, if you can, if you have a mirror, take a look at your hips. If you don't have a mirror, just look down. Are your toes pointing out to the side? So if your right toes are pointing closer to 1 o'clock, or your left toes are pointing closer to 11 o'clock, you know your hips are not facing forward. It's a great way to double check. So maybe you take a look back. I'm like, okay, toes are facing forward, 12 o'clock, great, we're in the right place. If lunges hurt your knees, maybe you take a smaller lunge. You bend into your knees to a degree that feels comfortable for you. You don't have to go all the way down towards the floor. And I'm not saying never, maybe not today, but working again to get lower into those ranges. One more each side. Okay, and release. All right, next thing that we're doing in this warm-up are broad jumps or long jumps, whatever you want to call them. So usually if I want to jump forward, unlike jumping straight up, if I want to jump straight up, I bend my knees and go straight up. My hips drop straight down. If I want to jump forward, my hips drive back. That's going to give me the force to go forward. My arms will go back as well, and then I jump forward. Now, if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can take a smaller jump forward and step back, or you can stay low the whole time, walk forward. If you want to make this more low impact, and walk back. We're all going to start together in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And notice what happens when you land. Are we able to land mid-foot? Or are you landing on your toes and falling forward? Same thing happens if you land on your heels, you're going to fall back. 15 more seconds here. Use your arms here to give you some momentum. Try to land soft. I don't want to hear you land, even though I can't hear you. You're doing this video at home. Last one here. All right. Whew. So hopefully I got your heart rate up. I got my heart rate up. So you're going to have some water. Towel off if you're super sweaty. We're going to get into this workout. Some exercises. You need kettlebells. You can use medium to light and medium to heavy weights. But if you only have one weight to work with, then we're going to work with how much time under tension do we have with the weight. So maybe we're holding the weight the whole time rather than dropping it, and we'll progress it that way. All right, so our first movement is goblet squats. With the goblet squats, there's a few ways you can do this. So if the kettlebell that you have is pretty heavy and it does not feel comfortable to carry that kettlebell this way, then what you're going to do is face your index finger up, and that switches the position from our wrist from here to here. And now we have a neutral wrist, which usually takes away the pressure from the hands, and that way it won't be your limiting factor. But if this still doesn't feel comfortable, it puts a lot of load on your low back, you're just gonna drop the kettlebell down. Make sure you're not curling into your upper back, pushing the chest through, opening up across the collarbones. Your feet could be whatever distance apart that feels comfortable for you, and we're going to start. So we have 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. In the 15 seconds off, I'll explain our next movement. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Goblet squats is first. So you can lower down to whatever feels comfortable for you. As long as, again, you're feeling like you're stable throughout the whole movement, at the bottom of it and the top of it. At the top, make sure your glutes are engaged, your core is engaged, and I'm still standing up tall rather than caving into the upper back. If the 45 seconds on, 15 off gets to be too much later on, you can do 30 on, 30 off. But we only have 15 seconds left here. Inhale down, exhale up. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 15 seconds off. Next up are your kettlebell cleans. You're bringing the kettlebell from the floor to your shoulder, alternating sides. Think about rotating, rolling back, and then punching up towards your shoulder. In 3, 2, 1. Kettlebell right under the hips. Clean it to your shoulder. Switch it over to the other side. Make sure that that kettlebell is something that you can pick up with good form. If you have a dumbbell, this works great because there's no rotation and punching up in the air. Just make sure the kettlebell or dumbbell is traveling nice and close to the body, like you're zipping up a long winter coat and bringing up to your shoulder. Almost there. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. All right, I'm gonna face sideways. We have our staggered rows. We're gonna do 6 to 8 reps in 45 seconds on both sides. So make sure you're switching right away. In 5, 4, staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. In 3, 2, 1, roll the shoulder back, row second. We wanna keep the integrity of our posterior chain. If this feels really uncomfortable and you have a desk at home and you wanna support your hand on that desk to take some pressure away from your low back, go ahead and do so. Let's just say 1 more here. And switch sides, switch your feet right away. Again, 6 to 8 reps should take you to 45 seconds on each side. Last one here. And now 15 seconds off. All right, we're gonna get into our push-ups. If push-ups is not something that you're comfortable with yet, then drop your knees on the floor and give me kneeling push-ups. But otherwise, we're gonna get into our push-ups. Your variation number 1 is just straight from the floor. In 3, 2, 1. When you're pushing up, think about having one straight line from your shoulders to your heels. I don't want to drop the hips here, neither do I want to bring the hips up, okay? There's a fine line between those two. If this feels very comfortable, we can do uneven push-ups. You can give me 3 on each side and switch, which means uneven, one hand is on the kettlebell, the other one's on the floor. 10 seconds here. If you give me 2 on each side now. 3, 2, 1. Release. 15 seconds off. All right, so we're already building up some heat. Okay, if you have 2 kettlebells, you're gonna grab them now. We're gonna get into your hollow body. So actually, for the first bit, for the first round, no weight. We're gonna hold hollow body here. Your second round, we're starting now. Your second round, you have the option to do a floor press. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. If you're going to do a floor press, you're gonna have the kettlebells at your right on top of your biceps, right under your shoulders, and doing your chest press, hollow body. This is not an easy movement, so this is why I want you to hold your hollow body in the meantime for 15 more seconds. You should press your lower back into the floor. Shoulder blades are off the floor, shoulders are off the floor. In 3, in 2, in 1, release. Whew. Okay, let's get into your swings. So again, I'm gonna give a variation for set number 1. Set number 2, we're gonna do the full out motion. So set number 1, have 2 kettlebells or dumbbells in front of you. Your feet are gonna be closer to each other. We're going for skier swings first. So a little bit longer break here for the first round, just because I wanna explain this. I wanna make sure that the kettlebells are traveling outside your thighs. Do not let them hit your knees. This is a friendlier way to do swings without putting a lot of load on the low back, and a nice way to help you understand what it is. All right, we're gonna start all together. Kettlebells in front of you, 1 foot or 2 feet in front of you, in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring them back, and then up into standing. When you bring them back, you wanna make sure that the shoulders go forward. Remember that broad jump we were doing earlier? That's the position that I want you in. When you come up into standing, extend your knees and your hips at the same time. The kettlebells should travel shoulder height Almost there. 15 more seconds. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Place them down. Hair out of the way. Shoulder presses next. So grab a little bit lighter weight. Place them on your shoulders in 3, and 2, and 1. Let's press straight up. So with the shoulder presses, your palms can face each other with the elbows right under them, and the wrists are neutral. When I'm pressing straight up, I'm not arching. I'm keeping my ribs in, squeezing my glutes, pressing straight up. If you want to take them out here, I'm okay with that. But make sure your wrist stays neutral. Ten seconds here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Whew. We're almost there. All right, next up is your lateral swings. So with the lateral swings, feet are really wide. You're gonna bend into your left knee, kettlebell on your right hand. We're starting in 3, kettlebell in front of you, 2, 1, bend into your left knee, then up again into that standing plank, but with the legs a little bit wider. So I'm pushing my hips back. Kettlebell travels towards my bum, in between my thighs. By the way, if you don't know how to do a kettlebell swing, I do have a video that you can check out, that you can practice before this workout. All right, let's switch sides. Bending into your right knee, kettlebell on your left hand. I just casually switched hands here without cueing you how to do that. But if you need to reset it to the floor to do that switch, go ahead and do so. Anytime you're doing a kettlebell swing, we're gonna make sure we're doing that switch at the top of the movement where the kettlebell's floating. In 3, 2, 1, release. 15 seconds off. Next up, we have plank drags. So back on the floor, in a plank position or a kneeling position, you choose. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. From here, kettlebell's on my right side. I'm gonna bring my left hand and drag it over to that left side. Now it's on my left side. Bring it with my right hand, dragging it over to that side, and so on. You get the idea. We're dragging the kettlebell right under our body across to the other side. If you need more stability, widen your feet. I don't care how wide they are, as long as your hips are not tilting side to side. We're not dancing here. If you have some nice music playing, great. Dance in those 15 seconds, but not here. Not now. Keep pushing. Breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. All right, that takes us into our final exercise, lunges. So 1 kettlebell or 2, you choose. We're gonna add something spicy, or something more fun, I would say, and pass the kettlebell under the thigh. You're starting in 3, 2, 1, step up with your left, kettlebell on your right hand, pass it under your thigh, and step back. Again, forward lunge with your right, pass it with your left hand, and step back. So these forward lunges, if you've had any knee pain or knee surgery, might not feel super comfortable. And if that's the case, I'm gonna demo. We're gonna take a step back. So stepping back and making that switch. Very accessible for anyone who suffers from knee pain. I know I used to not be able to get into my lunges pretty low after my 2 knee surgeries, but here I am today. So if you are in pain today, it does not mean you're gonna be in pain for all the time that you do lunges or every single time you work out. It is temporary. As long as you keep working, you keep pushing. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Okay. So those were 10 exercises. Not easy, yeah? We're gonna take 60 seconds off and do that 2 more times. You can pause the video Have some water. Or you can just stay here. Breathing together, acknowledging our hard work. Okay. So now I want to give you some variations if you want to take them, right? 20 more seconds here. We're going to go back to the goblet squat. Maybe you grab something heavier if you have it. If you don't, and it's something light, and you feel like there's not much happening here, hold it at the bottom for a few more seconds extra. Let's start all together from the top in 3, 2, 1. Goblet squats is first. Round 2. Feeling good. Now that we know what's coming up next, we can approach these movements with a little bit more power, a little bit more confidence, a bit more strength. The body's warm, it's feeling good. And again, if the script does not feel good, you can always drop that kettlebell down, arms are extended, not down to the floor, but in between your thighs. Notice what happens with your knees. Make sure that you're performing every exercise with good technique. You have 5 more seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and time. 15 seconds off. We have our cleans next. Actually, I'm going to use the same kettlebell. If you're comfortable with cleans, great. Awesome. You want to do snatches? I'll demo it. We're starting together. In 3, start over the kettlebell. 2, 1. Let's see it. Either snatches or cleans. I demoed cleans in that first one, but say you want more. Say there's a little voice in your head that always asks for more. And you can perform this exercise correctly. You can do it safely. Then do it. The same thing like a clean. I'm pulling that kettlebell nice and close to my body, punching it up in the air. Instead of stopping at my shoulder, I'm stopping it overhead. 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Rows. Whew. Let's start on the opposite side. Right foot forward, left foot back. Switching it up. If you need to support yourself, right elbow to right knee, you can. In 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. But if the weight is light, then you don't need to put that right elbow on your right thigh. You don't need to support yourself if you don't need it. Just because I gave you that option, it does not mean you take it. 6 to 8 reps here, last one here for me, and switch sides. If you weren't counting, you can do extra reps. Do extra reps on the side that needs more attention. Here, I'll do it with you too. We'll work the full 45 seconds. I'll start doing 2 on each side. 1, 2, other side. 1, 2, other side. 1, 2, last one. Take this one, why not? All right, release. 15 seconds off. We have our hollow body floor press. I showed you this before. Remember, this one is not the easy one. You're on the floor. Hollow body, push your lower back into the floor. Press those kettlebells straight up. Press it now as you exhale. Inhale down. If this is already hard without the kettlebells, put your ego aside and drop those kettlebells. That's okay. Bodyweight exercises can be very challenging, especially this movement. Ten seconds here. We're not resting our elbows down to the floor. Keep the heels hovering a few inches off the floor. 3, 2, 1, release. All right, push-ups. I give you the option of dropping your knees. I give you the options of alternating push-ups, uneven push-ups. I'm gonna do the uneven push-ups here. In 3, 2, 1, let's do 5 on each side. Either from the toes or the knees. When you alternate to the other side, bring your outside hand in Then shift your hand off the kettlebell to the other side. You can also drop your knees even if you're doing uneven push-ups. Let's do 4 on each side here to make sure that we're keeping it even. I can do 5, 4, 3. And 3, 2, 1. Release. You can also do alternating 1 for 1. That definitely works. All right, let's make our way up. If you did your skier swings and that felt good, great. I'm gonna do a regular kettlebell swing for you. You can do it with 1 kettlebell, 2 kettlebells. We're gonna start all together in 3, 2, 1. I'll demo with 1 first. So notice how I'm extending my hips at the top. The kettlebell floats at the top. If you're doing 2 kettlebells, make sure your grips are neutral and your palms are facing each other. And you can always continue with a single kettlebell when you feel like you can't do 2 anymore. Hair is everywhere with that swing. And 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Woo! Shoulder presses. Okay, so you have the option to do push presses. In 3, 2, 1. What are push presses? Quarter squat, push straight up. You're using your lower body to help you press a weight overhead. This is great when that weight is heavy. Especially when we're working with our lower rep counts, anywhere 6 to 8, and you want to lift up pretty heavy, then you can definitely use a push press. We are working for 45 here, so that weight should be something that you can keep on your shoulders the whole time. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Lateral swings is next. Woo! We're gonna do 8 to 10 swings per side. Grab that kettlebell. Keep it in front of you. Bending into your left knee first. Kettlebell on your right hand in 3, 2, 1. Bring it through the legs. Up into standing. As you extend your left leg, your right leg stays straight the whole time. Where's my co-coach here? What am I at? As long as you do 8 to 10 reps on each side, you're in the right place. Let's switch it at the top of the movement. Drive the hips back, bend into your right knee, kettlebell on your left hand. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, release. All right, plank jerks is next. Second last exercise. Meet me on the floor. We're gonna start off with a kettlebell to the outside of our hand in 3, 2, 1, from plank. Make sure you're bringing it under your body across to the other side and your hips are not tilting side to side. There you go. Spread your fingers, place equal weight from the heel of the hand to the palm, to your finger pads. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Our last exercise here. We made it this far, you guys. Lunges. So you have also the option to load both sides of the lunges. So we're gonna do that right now. In 3, 2, 1. If you're not already standing, come on, you can do this. Let's alternate side to side. Loading both sides, especially if you now want to load how heavy you wanna go. If you have the option of heavier kettlebells, and you want to do that here, then you don't have to do that pass through under the thigh. But one way to keep things exciting, especially with lighter weights, is to add some sort of complexity, some sort of way to throw off stability, to force you to engage your core more, to keep the tension in the muscles. 10 more seconds here. Remember to have enough space between your right foot and left foot. In 3, 2, 1. I started on the other side, so I gotta finish it off here. Release. Woo! All right. 1 minute down. And we're gonna do that all over again for round 3 and your final round. As you can see, it's pretty sweaty in here. I started off pretty cold, and now I'm sweating. You can take this as a good time to have some water, to towel off. Roll out the shoulders. Maybe you go back into the twists. Helping release the mid-back, low back. And I always like to start these videos with a warm-up, because a lot of us go like, yeah, I'm fine. I can do a warm-up. And then something hurts in the workout. You're like, oh, that didn't feel good. My back, or whatever it is, hamstring, glutes. And yeah, it's because the muscles are not warm enough. They're cold. You gotta bring that blood flow into them. 15 seconds, when we do that again from the top, I'm gonna give you one more variation just because I know you want it, just because I know you have more in you. This time, you're gonna bring both kettlebells to your shoulders instead of a goblet squat. In 3, 2, 1. If you have the flexibility of multiple kettlebells, bring them to your shoulder, drop down into that squat. 45 seconds here, or just a regular goblet squat. Sometimes with 2 weights, we can load them a bit more. Again, I have my wrist neutral, elbows right under the wrists. Try your best not to lean so far forward that your upper back is caving forward, you're hunching. Try to drop your hips straight down in 4, 3, 2, release. All right. Dropping that down. Cleans or snatches, dumbbell or kettlebell, you choose. 5 seconds to start. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Bend into your knees. The path of the kettlebell travels in one straight line from the floor up towards the ceiling. It doesn't go away from you. I'll demo sideways. "15 seconds here." You can also just bring it to your shoulder like we were doing before. Drop your hips. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. All right, rows is next. Rows are next. Woo! Let's do this. 6 to 8 reps. Actually, let's do 8 to 10 reps for this round. In 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna count this time. I don't need a co-coach. Yes, I do. But right now, I don't need it. They say if you don't answer yourself, if you talk to yourself and not answer yourself, you're not crazy. That's 10. Switch sides. But I always answer myself. So I guess that's decided. 3. I think it started during COVID. But here I am answering myself again. 8, 9, 10. We do have 5 more seconds. Let's just do 2 more on each side, just because we're working the whole 45 seconds, depending on your tempo. Now time. Now 15 seconds off. And now we make our way down to the floor for your favorite hollow body floor press. Finishing off this 3rd round, nice and strong with the harder variation, yeah? And 3, and 2, and 1. Lower back to the floor, press straight up. You can always start here. And if you need to drop those kettlebells, Maybe you alternate side here if that feels more comfortable. I'm sure it would, but if it makes you feel better, go ahead and do so. Keep your head off the floor. I'm not here pressing up. My shoulders are off the floor, even if that means bringing one knee in while the other leg extends, especially if that position doesn't feel comfortable. I'm still pretty active here, even if I have one knee in and the other leg is extended. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Let's get into those push-ups. Let's get it. I'm gonna give you one more variation. Close grip push-ups. Best for last, yeah? Hardest for last. In 3, 2, 1. That's gonna target your triceps a bit more. I'm gonna drop my knees on that one. Yep. I'm gonna put my ego aside and drop the knees. And again, if that feels like too much and you want to go back to the regular push-ups, you can definitely do so, or you can go back to the alternating push-ups that we did before, going from one side to the next for 1 rep or multiple reps. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. All right, swings is next. Is it the skier swings? Is it the regular swings? Is it two kettlebell swings? Whatever it is, in 3, 2, 1, let's do this. So maybe you do a single arm swing, maybe. Again, if you don't know how to do this yet, use a dumbbell. That sometimes makes it a lot easier. And do the skier swing. Switch sides if you haven't already. Do the skier swing, because that is a bit more comfortable, a little bit easier to learn than the regular kettlebell swing. Where's the weight? Is it in your toes? Is it in the heels? Is it in both? The right answer is both. Squeeze your glutes at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Remember, momentum and gravity is on your side for the kettlebell swing. All right, push presses is next. You can always start with heavier weights and drop down to lighter ones. In 3, in 2, in 1. Push press or strict press. This is your strict press. Nothing else is moving but my arms. Keeping the core engaged. And this is your push press. A little bit more explosive, using a little bit more lower body. Lower body helping the upper body. This is from the side view. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Lateral swings. Last 3 exercises and we are done. Woo! Let's do this. Okay. Kettlebell in your left hand this time. Bend into your right knee this time. In 3, 2. Keep it in front of you. Bring it through the legs. Stand up tall in that wide-legged position. 10 swings or so, and then switch sides. Switching at the top always. On the way of going up top, because if you switch on the way down, it might pull you with it. You gotta let the shoulders roll forward. You gotta look at the floor while you're doing this. At the bottom and then up top, right in front of you at the wall. At the top of the movement. In 3, 2, 1, release. Plank drags. Let's finish off strong here. 2 more exercises. Again, if this is getting hard, you're not alone. I'm right here with you, working with you. In 3, 2, 1, plank drags. You move a little closer to the kettlebell. You can stay high with the hips and the knees off the floor, or you can have your knees on the floor, but again, the hips don't kick back. You're keeping one straight line, whichever variation feels good for you. Spread out your fingers for equal weight into your finger pads, knuckles, heel of the hand. 10 seconds here. Just moving east to west. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Your final exercise, lunges. Finishing off with everyone's favorite. Okay, one last variation here that's gonna kick ass. For those lunges, stack them on your shoulders in 3, 2, 1. Take them back. Did I have to pick up the heaviest weight? I'll do reverse lunges here so you guys can see me. And if you picked up the heaviest weight, you can drop them down. That's also a nice way, if you have lighter weights, place them on your shoulders. It's gonna add a little bit more of a challenge, a little bit more instability again, forcing you to engage your core more. But it's great, you're doing great. 10 more seconds here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are done. Woo! If you are not sweaty, I'm not sure what to tell you, but I am super sweaty. We're gonna go through a cool down, have some water, towel off, and meet me on the floor. All right, so cool down time. We're gonna have our right leg extended with the left knee bent, with the sole of the left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Sometimes we naturally sit a little bit more hunched, and I want to avoid that. So open up across the chest, place your hands behind you actually, right behind your hips. From here, take a big inhale. On your exhale, tip the shoulders forward. Stay here with the hands behind you. If you feel fairly comfortable, if you feel like this is a movement that you can stay here for a while, we're just gonna open up that leg out to the side a bit more. And again, I'll face on an angle here so you can see me. So we've moved our right leg out to the side more. And if we feel pretty comfortable, let's walk our hand forward. Both hands forward, keeping the spine long. If you've walked your hands forward and now you started curling in, let's bring them back. Treat them as your second spine, second and third. Yes, your hands, your arms. And if you're fairly comfortable here, let's walk our hands towards our right leg this time. I want you to push your left shoulder towards your right toes, like you're pulling it. There's a string connected to your toes, and it's trying to get that shoulder as close as you can to your toes. Targeting to lengthen our left side body. Maybe you'll feel a nice release in the low back as well. And now we're going to reverse that. We're gonna stack the left shoulder on top of the right shoulder, going for a side bend. So opening up across the chest here. Maybe you use your elbow to dig it to the inside of your right thigh to help with that. And maybe you stay here with your left hand to your low back. Maybe you bring it overhead. Maybe you just keep it there on your left thigh, whatever feels comfortable for you. I know some of you yogis can go all the way through and touch your toes like beautiful, flexible humans. That's great, awesome. However, if you're forcing it to touch your toe, and you see how I've closed up my chest here, I want you to avoid that. I want you to keep the opening across the chest, even if that means not touching your toes. Taking one more deep breath here. We're gonna switch over to the other side. So we're gonna extend the left leg. Bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Bend your right knee. Again, try to open up across the chest. Place your hands behind your hips and tip your shoulders forward. So maybe you can tell me your thoughts here. I was considering making this video just 10 minutes and then you can repeat it on your own 3 times. Then I decided to do the whole video with you, the whole workout with you. Which one do you prefer? If you have a preference, let me know in the comments. Show your love, subscribe, like, share, especially if you like this content so I can continue to create more. All right, if that feels fairly comfortable, We're gonna bring that left leg out to the side even more. Let's keep hinging forward, walking your hands a bit more forward. And walk your hands towards your extended leg. This time that right shoulder is pulling towards the left toes. Something that I like to think about as well is trying to bring the center of my chest towards my knee. That should help release your QL. You should feel the stretch in your hamstring, left hand side. Help release the low back, especially when you start taking a hold of the outer shin, or calf, or toes, or thigh. All right, let's stack that right shoulder on top of left shoulder. Push your left elbow into your inside of your left thigh. Open up across the chest. If you don't have that accessible, then you can push your palm into the floor to help you open up here. Try to keep some weight into your right hip as well. So if you're hinging towards the left side or side bending to the left side and your whole right side is lifted, we're kind of taking away from that stretch. So push your right hip down, pull your left side out to the side. Something like you're being stretched out from both sides here. Someone's pulling you from both ends. Take in one more deep breath here. Let's just do one more deep breath here. And slowly release. If you need to stretch out anything else, I highly suggest it. But you guys, thank you so much for joining me in this 30-minute kettlebell workout. If you have any questions at all, if you want to see anything else in the future, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.